All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about Jaron Boots Ennis and Keith Thurman in the 140-pound division, and hilarious call out from Jaron Ennis, his camp, to Keith Thurman. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. Let's stick with the 147-pound division in this video, talking about one of the best welterweights to fight in the last 20 years and maybe one of the best fighters to fight this century. And I am talking about Keith, one-time Thurman, and Jaron Ennis. And I should also say, bring a little conversation in about Conor Benn, who is a prospect out in the UK. Now, before I get into the subject matter of the video, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a longtime subscriber and supporter to the channel, thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for watching the videos, chopping it up with me. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to subscribe, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos, which we do on a daily basis, both in the live stream format and in the video format. All right, so let's get to this. Jaron Ennis is probably the best prospect in boxing, or excuse me, he may very well be the best contender in all of boxing. As if you watch boxing, you know there's different people categorize fighters in different ways. You have guys that are champions, right, currently holding a title. You have guys that are prospects, people that are like you're trying to figure out whether they're good or not, what level of fighter they are, right? New fighters that come into the game. And then you have guys that are solid contenders, people that you know are out there who are going to be vying, who are no longer a prospect because they have proven that they are at a certain level in the game. But yet they're not at the championship level for one reason or another, and that is Jaron Ennis. And I think Jaron Ennis is probably the best, along with guys like maybe Jaron Anderson at heavyweight, may very well be the best prospect, two prospects at boxing. You have Shakur Stevenson, who's a champion. You know, Devin Haney's a champion. Gervonta Davis has been a champion. Right, most of those other guys that are, even though they're younger, even David Benavidez, the 168-pound former WBC 168-pound champion, I would put him in the championship level fighter because he's already won his belt. But those two guys, Jaron Ennis and Jaron Anderson at heavyweight, I think of the guys that have not won titles, whether they are, you know, a major championship belt or a secondary belt like the WBA regular. Those are really the guys. So a lot of people have been talking about Keith Thurman fighting Jaron Ennis and what's going to be specifically what's next for both of those guys, because they're both at crossroads and are both aiming for the same thing. You have Keith Thurman, who's a former WBA champion, former WBC champion in the weight class, that is really trying to get his hands on either Errol Spence Jr. or Terrence Crawford and get another shot at a championship fight. Some people say that he deserves it. Other people say he doesn't deserve it. My school of thought, I'm of the school of thought that says he's already proven that he deserves it. He's definitely already been a champion. He's proven he can fight at that level. So if he's able to get that, get a shot, I don't have any problem with that whatsoever, right? And then you have Jaron Ennis, who is in the top 5. I do believe he's still in the top 5 of every major sanctioning body. So he's ready because he has earned it, right? Once you get into the top 3, guys in a sanctioning body, you've done enough to earn a championship. To earn a shot at a championship. A lot of people always, well, what have you done? What has he done? What has he done? And then nitpick the guy's resume or talk about who this guy, he beat that guy isn't anybody. Look, you can do that with pretty much anybody. You can do that with champions. You can do that with contenders. You can definitely do that with prospects. But the only actual way that you can get that you're supposed to be able to prove that you deserve a championship shot is by becoming highly ranked in a particular sanctioning body. In the case of Jaron Ennis, He's already the IBF mandatory for Errol Spence Jr. He's in the top 3. He is either or has been in the top 4 of every other sanctioning body, right? So it's time to go. But the question is, will they make the fight? And will Keith Thurman take that fight? Now, in an interview that took place on YSM Sports Media, shout out to YSM Sports Media, would love to show you their footage, because a lot of times people ask me why I don't show footage on the channel. I don't show footage on channels because I don't own the footage, right? So definitely go check that interview out. They do really good work over there, man. Give you stuff straight from the source. One of the best channels out there, in my opinion, especially when it comes to, you know, what's going on in Philadelphia. But what they basically said was, look, man, Keith Thurman can't keep running. You know, he's like, look, man, you're gonna have nowhere else to go. You're gonna have to come and get this fight, whether it is at, you know, because of where they are positioned, right? But at the same time, man, they were listening to Bozy. Sometimes I mispronounce his name, Jaron Ennis, and listening to the cats that are outside there actually talking about that fight. You can really tell that there's some sore feelings around Keith Thurman, and Keith Thurman not wanting to fight Jaron Ennis. Now, I understand why, and because they obviously believe that he can hurry up and get knocked out by Jaron Ennis, right? And that Keith Thurman knows that that's the case, right? So don't price yourself out, man. But even if you do, eventually you're going to have to fight him. And I do believe that that is going to be the case if he continues, man. And I'm not faulting, get me straight on this, I'm not faulting Keith Thurman if he doesn't want to fight Jaron Ennis. I don't think that there's really a problem with that in this regard. Keith Thurman's eyes is at getting a championship. And that's what his goal is. That's what his goal should be. He's been a champion. He wants to be a champion again. Anybody that wants to be a champion, that's what they want. So the idea that they're going to be super happy about fighting, you know, before they actually get a shot at a belt, right? Before they get a shot at a belt, they have to fight some young killer who very well may be the next Roy Jones Jr. I mean, Keith Thurman, you can say what you want about Keith Thurman, but he ain't dumb and he ain't blind. He can see what Jaron Ennis is. However, just like Jaron Ennis's camp said, look, and the reality is that when Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. fight, they say that they're going to vacate those belts. Those belts are going to pop up, and Jaron Ennis is going to be mandated for one of those fights. And if Keith Thurman wants to fight for one of those belts, he very well is going to may very well have to fight Jaron Ennis for one. Those guys are both on the same. They're both on the same network. They're not in the same promotional company, right? And I don't think he has the same advisor, because I don't think Al Heyman advises Jaron Ennis, but he's signed to a multi-fight deal with Showtime, and that I do believe is the network that Keith Thurman is going to fight on. Once it becomes a championship fight, a championship level fight, even though it may be an expensive fight, Keith Thurman is either going to have to say, well, no, do I want to fight for the belts or do not want to fight for the belts? And going up to 154 pounds, man, I'm telling you, there's not a more crowded division for those belts in all of that, in all of boxing. So I don't think he's going to be able to get away from that for very long. I think he's going to absolutely positively have to fight Jaron Ennis, and it may be just a matter of time unless Keith Thurman retires, right? But Jaron Ennis, those guys are correct. They are perfectly situated to force that fight, and I don't think unless he retires, I don't see him getting out of that, man. Even especially just by going to 154, where you have Errol Spence Jr. is going up there, Terrence Crawford is going up there, Errol Spence is going up there, Terrence Crawford is going up there. You got Danny Garcia, who just moved up there. All these guys have fan bases equal to or better or bigger than Keith Thurman's at the moment. So, you know, I just think that it is almost an inevitability. At least I'm hoping so, because these are the fights that I want to see, man. That's a good, solid fight, whether or not the guy that I want wins, whatever the case is, man, or what you think about Keith Thurman in the past and how he didn't fight Errol Spence Jr. To me, I just want to see that good fight, because those are good names. That's people you can have really good boxing conversations about it, because they both have, one guy's upcoming and the other guy has a really good fan base, and the guy that's upcoming's fan base is growing. So anyway, that's my take on the situation. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.